I'm Quinn and welcome to Wayne Rome. Today we're going to be talking about Wi-Fi Tribe, which is a remote working community that I joined on a whim and has already changed my life. I'm going to be talking about what it is, why I joined, and some pros and cons to consider if you're thinking about joining. First of all, what is Wi-Fi Tribe? Wi-Fi Tribe is a community of professionals that co-live and co-work together in amazing locations all over the world. I'm talking Egypt, Colombia, Croatia, Peru, Japan. The locations are absolutely insane. I actually found out about this group when one of the co-founders, Diego, was interviewed on one of my favorite podcasts, Zero to Travel. I linked the episode down below if you're interested and want to hear it for yourself. So in this interview, Diego talked about how he had a vision of bringing together a group of ambitious travelers who need to make a living but also want to explore this amazing world that we live in. He started with some friends of his, and from there it's just grown exponentially. Now it's grown into this huge network of people all over the world who meet up, work in these amazing locations, and of course get a lot of work done. It's seriously one of the coolest ideas ever, and I'm so glad that he came up with it. Not only are you able to connect with people while you're on the chapters with them, but there's also a very active Slack channel of people constantly connecting and getting to know each other. I know people that have become business partners, found their significant others, switched jobs, all through connections in Wi-Fi Tribe. And I feel so lucky that I get to be a small part of this community. Wi-Fi Tribe attracts a myriad of people, and of course everyone's unique, but I did notice a few similarities between everyone in the group. Apart from the love of travel, everyone was very active and adventurous. So if you're the type of person that has their comfort zone and has no plan on leaving it anytime soon, this may not be the group for you. This group is going to push you to be your best and have your most amazing experiences, so be ready for that. On weekends in my chapter, people were going paddleboarding, hiking up volcanoes, going on horseback rides. And of course you don't have to participate in every single thing, but being open to these new experiences definitely adds to the quality of your time in the tribe. Other than that, I found a lot of diversity in the group. I was the youngest person in my tribe at 25, and the oldest person in the tribe was 39, and there were people at a bunch of ages in between. There were some really interesting jobs represented too. In my group, there was a travel app founder, a refugee lawyer, a book publisher, among so many other things, and there were so many people I felt like I could learn from. Also, everyone had different hobbies too. On a Sunday afternoon, there might be people that went to the beach and people that went on a hike. And keep in mind that none of these activities are planned or on an itinerary. They're just people that are interested in something and they tell the rest of the group about it, and you can join or not join. It's very loose. There's not a lot of organized activity. There's just time for you to bond and get to know each other and go on these different excursions together. I truly felt like I could sit next to any of the, I think 18 people in my group and have an interesting conversation. And I actually did end up doing that by the end of my time there. Everyone had so much to offer, so much life experience, and they were happy to share their knowledge and lessons learned with anyone in the group. From what I know, there are a few factors about Wi-Fi Tribe that make it different than other remote working groups. Not better, just different. You can tell that they're hyper-focused on their community, and they take their core values like respect, passion, camaraderie very seriously. Wi-Fi Tribe also offers a lot of flexibility. A lot of other remote groups make you have a commitment of at least a few months, but all the Wi-Fi Tribe chapters run 4 to 6 weeks. This helps with a variety of different schedules, like mine. As much as I would love to be a full-time digital nomad, it's just not practical for my life right now. I can't be gone for months at a time. I still have rent to pay in the US. So I need a little bit of extra flexibility. Wi-Fi Tribe shorter chapters allow for me to be a part of this lifestyle a little bit more casually, which I am so appreciative of. And if you want to extend your experience, there's no limit to how many chapters you can join at once. You can do Wi-Fi Tribe for a year straight and still get that awesome experience hopping around different countries with these tribes. Next, I want to tell you about how to join, because there is an application process. Don't roll your eyes, because it's for a purpose. They are so intentional about protecting the culture that they've created, and you'll really grow to appreciate it once you're actually a part of the community. So once I listened to this podcast in the dead of winter, after not having traveled for 2 years at this point, I basically tripped over my feet to grab my laptop and apply to this group. I filled out some information about myself, my work, my hobbies, why I travel, and then a few weeks later, the team reached out to me for a Zoom interview. In this interview, they asked to know a bit more about me, try to get a feel of how I would mesh with the community, and understand what I could contribute to the group. After that, the last step was a personality test, and then I got my acceptance. It was super smooth and probably the most fun interview experience I've ever been a part of. I get to talk about building relationships and travel. There's no downside to that. And the team just made the process incredibly smooth. I just want to mention here that there is a membership fee required once you're accepted, and this is on top of any of the fees you'll have to pay for any specific chapters that you'll be joining. Now I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of my personal testimonial and tell you about some of the pros and cons of Wi-Fi Tribe. Starting with the cons that aren't really cons, but I just want to express of things that went through my head and true feelings that I had during my first month as a Wi-Fi Tribe member. Full disclosure, as an extreme introvert, there were times that co-living was extremely challenging for me. And since I take a while to warm up to people, the first 1.5 weeks were pretty awkward for me. There were a lot of times that I wanted to go out and do things on my own, take a walk, explore the town, but it seemed like everyone else was going as groups. So I kind of felt wrong for wanting to be on my own, and it made me feel a bit like an outcast. But then as I talked to the people in the tribe more and got to know them better, I realized no one was judging me. They actually thought it was pretty cool that I was brave enough to go out on my own and explore, and they started to come to me for recommendations on what to do. So this con was really in my own head. And once I kind of opened up to the group more and really involved myself, I didn't feel weird about my own personal preferences to sometimes do things alone, even though it looked different from some other people in the tribe. Everyone is super accepting, and I really feel like I can be myself, which I was very thankful for. And my second and final negative is just about money. If you're in a group and doing every activity, eating out every night, you're going to rack up a very hefty bill by the end of the month. That's fine for a lot of people, but for me, who was the youngest person in the tribe, the youngest person in my career, and someone who still had a rent to pay back home, I was very conscious of the money decisions I was making. A lot of the group expenses are logged into an app called Splitwise, and if you're not careful in keeping a log for yourself, you're going to have a rude awakening once everyone has to pay their balance by the end of the month. With a large group like this, it can sometimes be uncomfortable to be the person to say, I have to stay at a cheaper accommodation while you all stay at the fancy hotel on this weekend trip. Or I won't be joining you for dinner tonight because I cooked food at home and I'll catch up with you later. But you have to keep your goals and boundaries in mind despite what everyone else is doing. It's not the most fun, but it's a part of being an adult. Now that we got that over with, let's talk about all the pros of Wi-Fi Tribe. One thing I really love about Wi-Fi Tribe across the board is that everyone is invested in each other's growth. At the beginning of my chapter, we had a Slack thread where everyone listed the few things that they were passionate about or an expert in. And besides being able to reach out to a person specifically about that topic, there were also skill shares every week where people could teach about that specific topic. You'll also find people having mastermind sessions and getting new ideas out of each other. It is so inspiring. Speaking of the individuals of Wi-Fi Tribe, I have to tell you that no one is cliquey or pretentious. You never know about the dynamics of the group, but Wi-Fi Tribe is so intentional about who they let in, so everyone has a personal responsibility that they feel in upholding that culture of inclusivity. And while I love traveling solo, being in a group like this pushed me to do so many things that I would never have done on my own. There were a bunch of activities that I did as a result of positive peer pressure that I probably would have talked myself out of doing by myself. And I'm going to get to my last two because I could ramble for days about how much I love this program. But Wi-Fi Tribe really opens up your mind to destinations that you may have never considered going to before, whether they seemed intimidating, out of reach, or just weren't on your radar. I know that I felt really comfortable going to a new destination because I know I'd be going with a group. Previous to my chapter, I never once considered going to Guatemala, but I saw it on the list and figured, why not? And now it's a destination that I know I'll be returning to and has stolen a huge chunk of my heart. I may have never gone there without the help of Wi-Fi Tribe. And my single favorite tradition of Wi-Fi Tribe are Tribal Tuesdays. These are opportunities for the whole group to share a meal together and participate in some random activity that would result in a lot of laughs and some unexpected connections. The Tuesdays within my month of Wi-Fi Tribe consisted of a very intense game of Mafia.
Tell me the doctor saved the person.
But the doctor.
a speed dating like game for us all to get to know each other, skits of insane tutorials like how to capture a unicorn or how to save an alien, late night twerk parties, and a real life Super Mario Kart game that I can't even begin to explain because it was so weird. However, I can say that you have not lived until you've seen a bunch of adults dressed up in cardboard costumes and chasing each other around with water guns. Doing these types of activities as a group just remove the barriers that we all have up as adults in our everyday life and allow us to have some of the purest fun that I've ever experienced. It was so freeing, and I always look forward to us being together as a group for these gatherings. And now for the big question, would I do Wi-Fi Tribe again? I think you could tell from my explanations that the answer is an emphatic yes. Wi-Fi Tribe was hands down one of the coolest things I have ever done. My decision was made on a whim, but I have never been so thankful for a last minute move. I have such beautiful memories with that community, and the group pushed me to mature as a friend, a worker, and a traveler. To be completely honest, logistically, I don't think that I'll continue my membership for next year, but I know that I'll always be looking for openings too in the future. The situation with 2022 for me is that I just don't think I can figure out 2 or 3 months where I can be away from home, unfortunately. Maybe I can get a few weeks, but 4-week or 6-week blocks just aren't possible for me at this time. And I think you get the most out of Wi-Fi Tribe when you can do at least 2 to 3 chapters a year. But if my circumstances change, I am right back in there because I love this group. I found Wi-Fi Tribe to be a great way to escape the monotony of everyday life and meet some really interesting people that I never would have otherwise gotten the chance to know. Being a remote worker can be pretty lonely, so this is a great way to shake things up without straight up just quitting your job and wandering the world. In my short time, I made some great bonds with some of the most intriguing, interesting, and intelligent people that I've ever known. During my chapter, I really felt like I was making the most out of the opportunity to work remotely, and I would do it multiple times a year if my schedule allowed. So there's my Wi-Fi Tribe experience. I would recommend anyone who wants a little bit of adventure or excitement in their life to try it at least once, because I know that you'll become addicted to it like I have. Take a look at the website, read a bit about it for yourself, and let me know down in the comments which destinations have you ready to apply and book your tickets ASAP. And if you have any other questions about Wi-Fi Tribe, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer them based on my experiences or connect you with someone that may be able to help you out. I really hope that this video was helpful for you and that it opened your mind to Wi-Fi Tribe if you didn't know about it before, or kind of pushed you over to the positive side if you were on the fence. The community is 1 in a million, and I know that you would love it if you gave it a chance. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.